Why don't we, Ken's obviously having trouble. Does one of you just want to call this to order? Cindy, do you want to fill in for your colleague, Ken?
Sure. I will call the meeting to order if you do a roll call, please.
Okay. Was somebody going to say something?
No, go ahead.
So Cindy Kennedy.
Here.
Joseph Pichette.
Here.
John Schaefer.
Here.
Andy Bruce.
Here.
Chris Harp.
Here.
We have 5 present, and Ken Sipsma apparently is having some technical difficulty, and we don't have a vice chair appointed currently. So Cindy, you're running the meeting for this evening.
Okay.
Unless Ken joins us, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. If everyone has had a chance to look at the meeting minutes, if I would call for a motion to approve those.
Schaefer will make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Motion by Schaefer. Do I have a second?
Bruce will second.
Have a second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, wave, say hi.
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Cindy, I'll abstain.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Joe Pichette abstained.
Ken Sipsma has just emailed me. He has no control over his audio or video, he said. We'll just mark him as excused for tonight. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, our first and only, I guess, agenda item is consideration of a request to rezone, create 3 residential lots at the Ziegler Dairy Farm LLC, 5429 County Highway Q, Westport. And there should have been packets for everyone to review. I guess Mark or Dean or whoever would like to start presenting.
Sure. This is Dean Groska from the town of Westport. I can't get used to not raising my hand and voting in this committee because I was on it for years. But now, as staff, I will introduce this issue. It's the Ziegler Dairy Farms, and they're interested in rezoning a portion of their 167.6 acre property and creating 3 residential lots, which total approximately 24 acres. They've indicated that they don't wish to develop that any further, but they would like to create these lots in order to partially fund the purchase of the farm. I think that's probably enough without hearing from the applicants. So Cindy, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, is the applicant here to present tonight?
I'm the representative for the Steve Ford from Bunbury and Associates. I'm representing the Zieglers Dairy Farm.
Okay. If you'd like to go ahead and start and lay out what we're looking at.
What we're looking to do is the Zieglers have acquired the property as of 2 weeks ago. They had bought it from the Kipley farm, which is family as well. They're looking to one, improve, and you can see by my proposal of rezone it's create 3 additional lots, all in the unused farmland. Now the lines that I put on, and Cindy had me clean that up a little bit, and I hope it helped a little bit of the new maps and stuff, because it was kind of joggled in there on there. At the same time, I did clean up the verbiage as far as their proposed improvements. So we're looking to add approximately 3 lots, additional lots, all averaging about between 4 and 5 acres. I don't know what they are. About 98% of non-usable farmland. These are farm folks that obviously everybody knows the Ziegler farm. Well, if you don't know them, you've smelt it. But anyways, they if you live in Middleton, and they have this land that they've acquired, they're obviously they paid a premium dollar because of the Westport, Wanakee, Middleton area and the land prices. Dairy farms don't, the land up there is a premium. It's the highest dollar valued farmland in the county by far. And even if it was family, the Kipleys did not give them any kind of discount. So with that said, that's not our issue, or your issue, I should say. But what they're looking for, the Kipleys haven't farmed that property in a long time, as far as the Zieglers have been running it. Obviously, the Zieglers practice, knowing that it is a very well-oiled machine. They would like to create some revenue to improve this property. It's in disarray at best. It's in really rough shape. There's a large tank. There's a large, I believe I estimated about 1 million gallon tank, a manure tank sitting there. It's still got the manure in it. It's full. Them being farmers, they could use and the price of fertilizer. They could use the tank because it's still in quality shape. But if they were going to do this, if they did get approval to put 3 additional lots in, and I have talked the family into removing that tank with DNR guidance. There's a DNR task force that assists farmers to closing these large manure pits, which are unsafe. There is no fence around this product. There never was required. So there's a lot of improvements. Along with that, there's a very, very large cow yard that is partially roofed. A lot of the buildings have fallen. A lot of it has fallen over the years. They have not the Kipleys did not put any money into the property, knowing they were on their way of discontinuing because of their age, of quit discontinuing farming. They would remove this large facility of this old barns, and the big thing is, and I noted this only because I was out there snapping those pictures I shared with you of the amount of concrete that goes down to the Door Creek. They would pay for and remove all of that concrete. It has to be ground. They could probably reuse the concrete as far as part of the road. It's over an acre of concrete and buildings sitting there in this large cow yard. They would also draft a by recommendation of the Westport, Bob at Westport, an agreement that, and I was on the board for Pleasant Springs myself, and I understand how private driveways can be an ugly situation. And create and deed restrict to all parties, all 4 homes, if approved, a recorded private driveway easement. And then I did call your emergency, I believe his name is Matt, for Middleton, for your fire department and such. And he said that a bump out would be required every 700 feet. So I put 2 on there, and then a full turnaround large enough for a full-size fire truck to turn around in at the end of the drive. So that's all we need. And that's what I put in there. I also put in there the no further development of that particular side of the road. Like I said, these are farmers. These are Ziegler farms. They're not going anywhere. They got 5 boys that are continuing the farming after Greg hands over the gavel. And then there's another generation of lots of boys coming up behind that. So the Zigglers are expanding, and they're just looking for some kind of help to support the cleanup and the revenue to kind of offset what they paid for quality, expensive land, the farm up in the Westport market. And that's basically it.
Okay, I'm guessing that everyone has had a chance to review all of the documents that they sent. Let's start with questions. John, do you have questions for the applicant? Or is there something that you'd like Mark to show that we could discuss further?
I can jump in, Cindy. So
Sure.
in the staff memo, we brought to your attention the future land use map from Wanakee and Westport's comprehensive plan adopted in 2017. And that showed this area as, let's see. Oh. There we go. So here we are. The angled part of Q is where this property is. And that showed the area as rural preservation. With the intermittent stream, I don't know if that's always water in the stream or not, but it obviously feeds into Dorn Creek. And there's a small area of mapped floodplain alongside it as well. So there's some floodplain and then the rest is rural preservation according to the comprehensive plan. The other part of the memo is our observations. Actually, the other part, the southern end of the property has been mapped as a potential future North Mendota Parkway corridor. I would add that as well. And that's visible.
I think that was marked on the previous map.
Was that on the previous one?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, here it is. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's this orange shaded area or whatever color that is. My wife always says I can't tell color, so.
Mark, this is Dean, I'd like to add that the blue hashtag line was also a designation for community separation between
yes.
Westport and Middleton, which further complicates the matter. In addition to that, as long as I've got the mic here, I'd say that I wasn't at the Westport Plan Commission that night. I wasn't well, but to paraphrase basically what our Westport Plan Commission felt about this proposal was that it would be a difficult sell, mostly because it kind of is at variant with what we would normally do. We don't take ag land and split a piece off for almost any reason, except for possibly a family member that wants to knock a piece off so that the parents can stay in the farmhouse and they can live on the farm and work the land. This is not that. It's also 4 lots instead of or 3 more instead of 1 more. And in addition to that, it's concerning because it's in an area that might want to be planned in its entirety instead of just this little section. So Westport felt the whole thing was a difficult sell. It was a consultation only, as it is tonight in front of the JZC. But I think that it would be fair to say that our plan commission was pretty cool in terms of how they received this proposal.
I agree. The main thing was the division of the farm property for family members, and they said that it was no one from the family was going to live there. In addition, I had concerns about expressed concerns about the wetland in that area. And I didn't even take into consideration the separation zone, not having seen this map until tonight. There's also, my understanding, no services in that area. The current house must be on septic and well water.
Yes, the current Kipley farm is the house is on septic and well, yes.
So yeah, that was pretty much the consensus from the plan commission at that time.
Hello, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Ken.
I don't know what happened. I'd like reset my whole Zoom account, not account, but reset it. So anyway, I'm happy to be here, but carry on. I was not at the plan commission meeting. Even though I'm plan commission chair, I was not there for the November meeting, though I did get briefed by Dean and my John was there, right? Dean, John Kucha?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
got.
yes, he was.
And,
John chaired that meeting. John Kucha did.
yeah, and got briefed both personally as well as in writing, and I would just echo the same concerns I have. As a consultation, I wouldn't be in favor of this.
It's John Schaefer. I got my hand up. I don't know if anybody sees it, but so I'll lower it, but I'll talk anyways. I concur. You know, I drove by the site today and looked at it, and a couple things came to mind. One is, of course, Wanakee and Madison are growing together in Middleton very quickly, and this is a buffer, and it's a very beautiful buffer, and there's a lot of open land in every direction, with the exception of the sort of industrial thing on the southeast corner there. I was struck by the beauty sort of the topography by the creek, and I would have a really hard time figuring out how people are going to put septic systems in here when you've got this creek and watershed and a flood zone, and there's nothing but a steep hillside on this land, and for the most part. And I think right now everything in every direction is preserved, and it's very nice. And I for these reasons I couldn't really support it. Done.
Joe?
This is Randy Bruce. If I were to weigh in, I just would say that the proposal just doesn't seem to fit very well with the land use plan, the comp plan.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd have to be a good reason to deviate from that plan, which right now I'm not seeing.
Thanks. I would typically be the chair of this meeting, but who's ever been chairing it, please continue if you would.
I guess we haven't heard from Chris or Joe. Do either of you have comments or questions?
I don't have any questions. This is Chris, and I concur with what's been said. I after reviewing the materials and hearing the conversation, I would not support this as well.
Cindy, I'd add, this is Joe. I would add as proposed. I couldn't support it as proposed.
This is just a consultation, correct, Mark? All right, so Steve,
Yes.
I think you've heard from everyone on this committee, and you had the same response from our Westport Plan Commission. So if you've got further plans or other plans to be presented at a later time, but I would say that is not favorable at this time.
Well, there is no other plan. The Zieglers are farmers. They're not going to use anything other than the non-farmable property. And you said there is nothing in there that was did not that wasn't different. I guess what they were proposing. You mentioned, Cindy, the protecting the marshland. This stage, you're not protecting the marshland. Huge amount of runoff up a cow pasture and out of a manure tank. Enormous water, and that is not protecting the property and such. I mean, not DNR, but Dane County has bought big tracts of land to protect, including the acre farm right down the road and such. And to protect runoff. And this is a main line right to obviously the Madison Lakes. And all that green stuff that you saw floating around in the Madison Lakes, I'm sure a lot of that came from the Kipley Farm at one time when that place was, I can't even imagine the amount of runoff that came off those pastures. And if they continue to use this as a farm, the alternate use is a residential, but obviously that takes money to convert this property and grind this up and take down these buildings and such and remove a manure tank. All that takes revenue and such. And it's, I guess it was kind of a proposal of what they could do with the particular property and such. So there would be, right now you're saying that there wouldn't even be a proposal of even 2 lots on this one, like we've heard from other residents in that area, even if you deed restrict a large portion of land?
No, I'm not sure. This is John Schaefer. I'm not sure that you're paraphrasing this correctly. I didn't get a sense that nothing was the only option. I got a sense that the option being proposed with 4 lots the way they were was not the acceptable option. And while I can agree about the current pollution that's going on, I also don't think we should be held hostage by that as a way to accept this as the solution to that problem. I think there are potentially a lot of other ways that could be solved and dealt with, but this, as the 4 lots split up the way they are, does not strike me as the appropriate answer to the problem.
And we can only address the proposal that we have in front of us. We can't say, you know, if you do this and this and this and this, you know,
All right.
that's not our job. Our job is to consult with what is being proposed.
Right.
All right, well then I will go back to the, thinking tank and figure out another proposal and propose that particular, because of the density, you're saying 4 lots are not, are obviously not feasible for or right for the town of Middleton or city of Middleton, town of Westport. And so I guess I'll rewrite my proposal and then submit it to you once again.
All right.
This is Mark Opitz. In the interest of trying to provide additional constructive feedback. Is it the number of lots, the number of residences that would be created, or is it the configuration that's more of the concern?
I think the concern is that it's in the buffer zone and it would be creating kind of a link between the two. And I think what I heard everybody else say was this is something that should be kept clear, and perhaps the existing farm could be updated and sold, but
Yeah,
No, that's helpful to clarify.
Well, this is John. What struck me too is the way the lots are spread out over the whole long stretch of the highway. And so if you're driving, if you're coming through and not the owner of the property, what you see is a very long, lengthy connection of these properties of things that really does come close to filling the gap between the 2 townships. And so it's partly the configuration for me, as well as the inability to do anything else with this space once you lock this all in like that.
It seems to me that Westport has only been allowing one additional lot for family members only. I'm not sure what the rationale would be. There'd have to be some really good rationale for doing something different than that, given the land use plan. That's my opinion.
Perhaps another option, this is Mark, perhaps
Yeah.
another option is to work with Dane County to see if they could help with purchase or acquisition of some of this land and abating the conditions that are contributing to the runoff. Maybe that's another avenue to pursue.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'll do is I will obviously consult with the Zigglers and then figure out what they exactly want to do and such. And then I will submit another proposal if they see fit.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys don't take care. Stay warm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
That was our only agenda item, correct, Mark?
Yep.
I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Ken Sitzma makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Schaefer seconds.
Schaefer seconds. All in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Opposed? Well, Ken, I hope it did all right.
It sounds like you did great. I apologize again. Somehow my Zoom got broke down. Well,